Hello, I'm Barbara Davis, a member of the Bylaws Committee, and I'm going to walk you through Article 8, congregational meetings in the proposed bylaw revision of the People's Church Constitution. So, the Article 8 is on congregational meetings. And this is one of a number of presentations of all the articles. There are also documents with the full proposed text, the summary of the major changes, a directory of who to contact if you need more information, all on the peopleschurch.net website. We encourage you to read these documents and watch the recordings. And later on toward the fall, before we vote, there'll be live listening sessions. And if you desire, you can have a one-to-one conversation with a member of the Bylaws Committee. Okay, the highlights for the Article 8 congregational meetings. Basically, this whole experience of 2020 and then now 2021 is that we need to be flexible. And so the Bylaws Committee was looking at how we could deal with all the possible things that could happen and give us ourselves the flexibility to deal with the current state of things and the current state of technology. And so that includes being able to update our communicating, our meeting, and our voting methods as needed. But we still want to be transparent to our members. Our members need to know what the organization is doing. And so we did a couple of things. We now authorize meetings can be held by electronic means and will be live streamed and recorded. We took out the part about absentee ballots, but we put in parts to encourage that there will be votes, that voting will be available to all members. We would use methods that are accessible to all members, which means that then we wouldn't have to have absentee votes. Okay, we also had to restate the quorum and voting requirements because if we're using electronic means and hybrid voting methods, the quorum doesn't have quite the same meaning. Okay, so looking at our actual wording. So notice of the meeting and voting procedures will be given in writing according to the methods described in the policy manual at least 2 weeks prior to the meeting, and shall contain a list of the nominees for the Board of Trustees, as well as known issues to be voted on. So this was in lieu of how we had previously described notice, that we would put it in the church newsletter. And yes, we still could, and we still probably will, but the methods would be approved and in the policy manual, so that people could also look them up in the policy manual. The list of nominees for the Board of Trustees and the nominating committee has been the requirement in the past, because those are things that will be voted on and people need to know them ahead of time. And then, of course, we still allow special congregational meetings, and the change is in how we describe the notice will be given. Okay, now we're explicitly authorizing our congregational meetings to be held by electronic communications meeting, and specifying that our methods will be described in the policy manual. That's because right now, we don't necessarily know what will be the best way to have our annual meeting or a special meeting. Right now, we have to meet in person, and part of our reason that we will have a special meeting to vote on the bylaws revision of the Constitution is that we will have to have a special meeting. We have been kind of dealing with voting in our last two annual meetings. We're essentially looking at voting as the majority of the total membership as a way to take a vote. The other thing we wanted in article or section 4 was we wanted to make sure that the meetings were both live streamed and recorded so that members could, whether they could attend in person or whether they could attend by electronic means or whatever, they would have a way to look at what happened. And again, we want to have a method of voting that's accessible to all members, and we want to have it specified. And rather, since at the right now, it may change from time to time. And so we didn't want to have to revise the bylaws to change the method of voting, and so we put it into the policy manual. The section 6 really replaces how we have used a quorum. Okay, except as otherwise provided in this Constitution, no action or vote shall be binding unless at least 30% of the membership has voted by a method accessible to all members as specified in the policy manual. And then the little notes points you to where other sections of the Constitution have asked for a higher percentage of voting. Except as otherwise provided in this Constitution, a simple majority cast by a method accessible to all members as specified in the policy manual shall constitute an affirmative vote. And there are other articles where a different requirement is specified. So we want you to watch the other recordings, read the proposed new Constitution, participate, please participate, and let us know what you think of our suggestions. So thank you again for taking the time to be interested in People's Church and how we govern. This is part of our self-governance. So please view all the recordings and documents that you wish and can. And if you desire, communicate with us with the members of the Bylaws Committee for future conversations. Thank you.